Faye Waddleton once said, "I have never believed in the impossible." Welcome to McBain Moments. Before we get started, as usual, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the manor. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button in the corner. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so please make sure you take an opportunity to subscribe. Also, please go to McBainmanor.com/donate if you would like to support my work. I really appreciate all of your support. I have never believed in the impossible are probably the best words that could ever be spoken. Now, why is that? What is impossible? Like, take a moment and think about it. What is impossible? Write it down. Pause the video. I'll wait. Done? Good. So, the things that are impossible aren't necessarily impossible. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. I want you to think about that for a minute. The things that we see as impossible are likely possible. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. I mean, let's look back over the last 100 years. 80 years ago, landing on the moon was impossible. Right? 80 years ago, landing on the moon was impossible. 50 years ago, no, it was probably longer now. 70 years ago, breaking the sound barrier was impossible. All of these things were deemed impossible, and yet we figured out how to accomplish it. And you're probably thinking, Julian, yeah, that's cool and all, but we're talking about things done by science and years of research and dozens of people working as a team. And yeah, that's true. But how can you take this statement and apply it to your life? Well, let's think about this. Are you having trouble finding a job or a job that pays you enough? Are you looking to go back to school? Are you looking to change careers? Are you looking to start a new hobby? Are you looking to learn something where it seems like there aren't any teachers? And you're looking at things and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, this is impossible. No, it's not impossible. You just have to figure out how to do it. You have to figure out the method and the work that needs to be done in order to accomplish the goal. No goal is impossible. Or, I can't say that. There are a few things that are impossible. I'm sorry. I don't think that any of us will ever be able to fold ourselves into a 1 foot by 1 foot cube. But within reason, any goal is possible if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to face the trials and deal with the heartache and the pain and the sweat and the blood and the tears, anything is possible. So how do you go about doing it? I did an episode of McBain Moments where I said knowledge is not power. Knowledge coupled with plans of action is power. And it was a quote from, or I was paraphrasing Napoleon Hill. You have to gather the knowledge. You have to create a plan of action. You have to implement it. And when part of that plan of action doesn't work, you need to be willing to alter the plan to push you back toward the goal. And sometimes you're going to need help. And you need to be not afraid to talk to people and ask them for that help. People who can actually help you. Because if you're making an effort to learn French, you can ask your mom for help all you want, but if she don't speak French, it's very little she's going to be able to do to help you unless you're both learning French. Right? You know, you can ask your best friend to help you put up a barn, but if they don't know the first thing about framing, it's still going to be extremely difficult. Now, it'll make raising the walls a little bit easier because you got two people instead of one, but you're still not necessarily in a great place unless you yourself are the expert framer. So You need to know that it's going to take work. You need to come up with a plan. You have to be willing to alter the plan as necessary, and you need to be willing to ask for help. This is how you make the impossible possible. And almost anything that's deemed impossible is actually possible. You just got to make it possible. Gundam Seed. I'm going to make an anime reference. For those of you who don't like anime, you can feel free to shut me off. But I'm a big anime geek, especially older anime, so just bear with me for a minute. There's a character who in the very beginning of this series, they're trying to get a ship that's not ready for launch to launch. And they've got like a tenth of the necessary crew because all their crew has been killed by an attack before they were able to board. And she's trying to get this ship to launch, and her name is Natarle Bagerule. And one of the crew members says, "But this is impossible." And she goes, "Time spent complaining about it being impossible can be better spent making it possible." Or no, time wasted saying it's impossible can be better spent making it possible. So instead of saying it's impossible, make it possible. Figure out what it's going to take. Take that step. Understand that it's going to be hard, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to be painful, and it's going to be frustrating, and it's going to be anger-inducing, but it's possible. You can do it. We can all make the impossible possible. Like making it to 13 million subscribers. Button's over here. This has been a McBain moment.